Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Anchor TV Interviews. As always, this is Tim Yin, Sports Manager for Anchor TV, as your host. Today we have a very important guest here at the Adams Library TV studio. Going into 2 years to his first official term as Rhode Island College's president, it's Dr. Jack Warner. President Warner, how are you doing today?
Great to be here, Tim.
Thank you so much. I know this has been an interview in the works, and I'm very glad you can make the time. Of course, this is the right time. I know if we had a fallback option, it'd be Monday morning, and of course, I think you and I both agree that Monday mornings, they get the usual stereotypes, right? You don't really want to wake up, you're already going to work, but thank you so much for being here.
I'm a morning person, so it was no problem for me. Maybe more for you.
Yeah, probably more for me. So,
okay.
If we were doing this late at night, it'd be a nice little late night talk show, but regardless, let's start with the first question. So, 2 years into your first or official presidency, what are some major and important things that you and your team have accomplished that you'd like to boast on about?
Well, I want to start with our major North Star, and that's to be student-centered. And recently, I see Dante and Tess in the audience, but we had a session the other day where they were talking about, because I'm in the same class as they are. So they were freshmen in my very first year here as an interim. And they talked about how student life has been revitalized and what a difference it is between their freshman year here and the senior year. And that I take to be the most major accomplishment, that student life has been revitalized here. Students seem to be happier to be here than they were 4 years ago. But we've also, done a number of other things. We've added several new degree programs like biotechnology, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, sports management. Those kinds of things have been done. We put into place our strategic compass, and the reason I pointed to student-centeredness is that a compass points to the North Star. Our North Star is student-centeredness. So we put that in place. That was a necessity. Our accreditor required us to do that, but we got that done in a very collaborative fashion, and it has helped guide our decision-making and our investments.
So, going back to the student life, sort of a follow-up question back to your first year, how much has that student life grown? How much, have you seen on campus, on the quad, inside the buildings of that student engagement, following up and increasing?
Well, you have to go back to where it started. When I first started, student government had been defunct. We didn't even, I think there were only 6 active members of student government. Their charter called for 54 students to be engaged in student parliament. So we realized we had to revitalize it. So we gave them the opportunity to function on a temporary basis with lower quorum expectations, while we redesigned the whole charter as an interdependent set of relationships between the student governance and the institution. So that took quite a while to get done, but since then it has just taken off from there, and every student government seems to get better and better. I think if you just look at the numbers of student organizations, for example, you see that the number has actually exploded. 73 comes to mind as the number that we have going on right now, and all of that was pretty much dead. Now, in fairness, it was post-COVID 4 years ago when I started, so a lot of that died out because of all the restrictions because of the epidemic.
Regardless of some tremendous growth. Let me follow up to my next question. Prior to your official term, you served as the interim president of the college beginning in 2022, which you talked a little bit about. What was about your time as the interim that motivated you to commit for the college and run for a full term?
Well, that's a great question. I ask myself that all the time. I said, and I got statements from my friends like, "What are you, crazy?" Rick gets in your blood. For one thing, there's a fundamental sense of purpose here, and a sense that we're doing something bigger than just having jobs.
Right.
That we are really dedicated to supporting students, supporting student success. That sentiment permeates this institution, and it makes it special. But the other thing that was happening is we were making progress. When I took over, we had a very large budget deficit. We got that fixed in the first year thanks to a state appropriation and then some prudent financial management where we really had to restrict our hiring. We had to make sound decisions about the financial help. So we did balance the budget the first year, so that was major progress. We also had seen a trend of enrollment in free fall, and those two are related to each other, of course. If your enrollment goes down, you're lacking tuition and fee dollars, so that was compromising a lot of things. So we put recruiters on the road. We expanded our student recruitment. We expanded our public relations and our publicity. I know you have a question about that a little bit later. And we began to show progress.
Yes.
So and in the spring of 2023, we were able to get the Hope Scholarship, which has been transformative for students and for the institution. So given those signs of progress, I said, let's continue this. We're on a roll. Things are working out in a positive way,
Yes.
Benefiting students. We also are a public institution. We benefit the state when we do well by our students and graduates. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring, and the rest is history.
Wow. And right into my next question with the Hope Scholarship. It's
There you
like,
go.
you read my question beforehand, right? So the biggest thing that's been introduced for the college is the Hope Scholarship, which offers students their last 2 years tuition free if they live in and commit to their education here at the state. Over the past few years, the pilot program has been running. What have you seen from the scholarship that makes you confident in its success? And not only to improve the campus right here at Rhode Island College, but all over the Ocean State.
Well, I like to say that and thank you, because you're helping me rehearse my testimony tonight for House Finance, because Representative McNamara's bill to make the Hope Scholarship permanent is going to be heard in House Finance tonight, so I plan to testify there. I know Dante is also planning to testify. So and Congressman Langevin will be appearing with me to
Yes.
indicate his support. So what I like to say is that it benefits in three ways. First, it benefits students because it takes away the biggest barrier to students graduating on time or progressing from one semester to the next, and that is affordability and cost. It also provides the opportunity for a bachelor's degree for under $25,000, and who else can say that?
Right.
At a time when people are paying hundreds of thousands for a college degree, we can offer that as baseline affordability, and we're committed to affordability. By the way, our tuition and fees are the lowest in the New England region for institutions like this one. So we've been committed to that for quite some period of time. But it also benefits the institution. Since I started, we are up 1,000 students over where our enrollment was. A lot of that is due to the Hope Scholarship and people seeing the value proposition of a high-quality education at a really affordable price. It's a great opportunity for us. And as an indicator of that, one of the pieces of our reputation that I found when I got here was that we were considered to be the safety school. If you couldn't get in somewhere else or you couldn't afford the place that you really wanted to go, you came to Rhode Island College. And it was important to me to turn that around.
Yes.
Well, this past fall, 57% of our entering freshmen said that we were their first choice. So that's turned that perception around completely. Another 30% said that we were their second choice. So that's not safety school stuff. That's real preference. I wanted, when I first got here, to be what I call the Opportunity College. We've always been the Opportunity College. We provide opportunities for first-generation students, for low-income students, for students of color to turn their lives around. We provide that opportunity, but I wanted to be the Opportunity College of choice.
Yes.
And here we are.
I have to agree with you on that. I'm a first-generation college student myself, so the opportunities here at this college, the Opportunity College, have been really, really impactful, not only to me, but to to hopefully improve and better my family as a whole. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Well, you don't have to thank me. I've lived it. I was a first-generation college student
wow.
myself. And so I know that college education opened doors to me that would never have been open if I didn't have a college education. And I couldn't stop. I was smart enough to stop. So I went on to get other degrees, and that opened further doors. So
And look where you are now, at Rhode Island College.
there we are. Yeah.
All right. At a donors brunch earlier this semester, you told the crowd a story about how you were told that Rick was the best kept secret in the state, and that you did not exactly have the most positive reaction. Elaborate on that a little bit more, and tell me about the college's plans on marketing the campus and its opportunities here in Providence.
Well, when I got here, I heard that narrative, best kept secret in the state. So what I said at that luncheon was, who wants to be that? Who wants to be a secret? So we had a fairly robust presence in social media aimed at young people. But what I learned was that policymakers didn't hear much about us or from us. Adults, parents, others didn't know much about us. So we launched in the August of 2022, even though we didn't have a lot of money, we invested in what we called the August Blitz, and that was to get the word out. So we did we've since done bus wraps, lots of TV ads, radio ads, billboards, a whole host of ways to get at the adult population of Rhode Island so that they would know something about us. And pretty soon there was a buzz.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhode Island College is doing some things. So we began to tell our story out there. And then we increased the social media presence as well. We have far more hits than we used to, so the data are clear. But nobody wants to be a secret.
Fantastic. Yeah, of course. And, it's gotten very, very public. All right, we will take a quick commercial break here featuring some amazing student commercials from Dr. Anthony Galvez's TV production students. When we return, some questions for President Warner regarding some campus renovations and some important issues facing Rhode Island College today. We'll be right back. Our biggest question of the day, strawberries or bananas?
I've researched this all my life. I know for a fact that bananas are superior to strawberries. I'm gonna have to disagree. Strawberries are the foundation of this great nation. Bananas. Strawberries. Bananas. Strawberries, bro. Bananas. Strawberries. Bananas.
Guys, just drink this.
Josh, wake up.
What's this, honey?
I just had a dream that Josh Green show was canceled. For
Oh,
good.
No, honey, the show is still on. Darling, the next episode is February 24th, 2026. It's a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday.
Oh. Okay.
Go back to bed. Go back to bed.
Imagine, if you will, a zone, the Skittles zone. Max is your average Joe, living an average life in a not-so-average commercial.
What? I'm in a commercial?
Max was transported to the Skittles zone.
What's going on? Am I breathing Skittles? Am I made of Skittles? No, I don't want this anymore. There was time now.
And there you have it. Tune in next week for another thrilling tale within the Skittles zone.
We'll get right back in here. Welcome back, everyone, to Anchor TV Interviews. Once again, Tim Bean here, sports manager with Jack Warner. Before the break, I hinted at some conversations with Mr. Warner about the new campus improvements and some key issues. Now, let's kick off with some major donation news. Just last month, there was a $1 million gift towards the Zavart Ornanian School of Nursing, which expands critical support for students, especially those at risk of leaving the nursing program. Now, President Warner, how important is that donation to the college, and how will that $1 million be used in that sort of critical support?
Well, first, let me set the larger context. We need more nurses, and we need them to be very well prepared, and we know that we do that here. Our pass rates are among the highest in the region, and we've always been proud of that. So we graduate a high-quality nurse that fills a really important need in Rhode Island's workforce. So that's the context for why we would use a donation like this to enhance student success. So we earmarked a portion of those funds to help a small number of struggling students in the nursing program and got them to turn their performance around so that they qualify for the NCLEX exam and can graduate on time. So it delivers comprehensive support services and tutoring and other assistance to anybody who's struggling. So it's really important. We need more nurses. We can't have students just dropping out because they're struggling.
Right. That's amazing. Now let's get into a little bit of a hot button issue here, which is the growing use of AI. There's been a bunch of support as well as a bunch of criticism regarding artificial intelligence. The college actually hosted a forum in early April titled "Navigating AI's Promise and Peril." Now, tell me what you learned from that forum and whether, or your personal stance on AI, and whether this forum changed your stance at all regarding artificial intelligence.
Well, it's a good set of questions. The first goal for me was to learn more about it. So I had one of our faculty members who use it extensively to give me an extensive tutorial. And so I learned quite a bit. I've tested it out myself. I've asked it to do certain things that I found to be really helpful. So I think, and we decided to make it, so I sponsor 2 presidential forums a year, beginning this year. So next year there'll be 2 more. And we chose AI because of its ubiquity now in our society. It's all over the place. And so the responsible use of it, the precautions need to be talked about. So we brought in Michael Littman from Brown, who is an advocate, kind of cheerleader for AI, sees its potential, wants its use to be broad and deep. And then John Warner, no relation, but he's written extensively about, he's an English person, a writer, and he sees some of the perils. Like, for example, in instruction, you can't let an AI-generated essay substitute for student-generated or people-generated essays. You can use AI to enhance it, to correct language, to do any number of things like that. But we have to make assurances that people's work, that they're actually learning the things that need to be learned, because writing skills, communication skills, your communications majors, so that you know this, are really essential for thriving in the workforce of today. So one of the things that impressed me, the faculty member was Julie Horwitz, by the way, and Julie is the co-chair of our own AI task force. So we announced the task force the night of the discussion, the forum, because we were launching it right at the same time. So it's co-chaired by a faculty member and the institution's chief information officer. And there are many faculty and staff who are participating in it. But the job is to really see the applications and how we can benefit our students and our institution while being cautious about some of the downsides. But one thing that impressed me when I looked, when I was talking with Julie, is that she actually has embedded in her syllabus 5 levels of assignments and the use of AI. From these assignments, can't use it at all the way up to go for it. Use AI, use it to generate. The other compelling piece for me is that employers are increasingly telling us they want our graduates to have familiarity with AI. So you can't just ignore it or think that we can ban its use or anything like that. Students are going to use it. So the question is, how do we frame its use so that we can have students benefit?
So, just saying here that your stance is still a very cautious, is it still a sort of a cautious one, more still a exploratory, let's see what it can still do?
Well, yes, and let's try it.
Okay.
Let's try the applications. Let's explore the nuances of it. what you come out of when there's a respectful dialogue of differences of views, which there were that night, is that this is a nuanced situation. There are lots of nuances in the debate and the discussion.
Yes.
Ranging from let's just ban it to let's embrace it whole hog and not be worried about the implications. So it's in that middle ground that you want to see where the nuances are and what pieces of it do we want to embrace and what pieces of it do we want to be skeptical about.
Right. Now let's kick it off to another huge question. Another hop-on issue, the arming of campus police officers at the college. You said that you are for arming campus police officers with the assistance of an 18-month training program. You released a survey regarding arming campus police that showed out of 1,400 answers, 57.6% of them are at least somewhat in favor of arming those officers. Those against have expressed their doubts about the survey on its authenticity of the genuine thoughts of the campus population. Have you talked to faculty and student leaders for those who are both and against, and what have those discussions or how have those discussions altered the way you're viewing the current campus police situation?
Well, we've had extensive discussions with student government and also with the RIC Council, which is our shared governance body, and other student and faculty leaders as well. I think and I should tell you that I used to be opposed to arming campus police, but that was before a whole host of incidents in educational institutions throughout the spectrum of education. And my biggest concern is the response time of officers. To get an armed officer on the scene is a minimum of 5 minutes and likely longer than that. So we've taken a number of other measures. So for example, we've created addresses for every building on campus so that if a responder needs to get there, they can do so right to the address of the building.
Yes.
And we've got Providence fully on board with that, and we're nearly there with North Providence. So we've also put a whole host of other safety measures in place. We're looking into a system where we can lock down all buildings instantly, electronically. They have to be upgraded to do that. We've upgraded cameras, which relates to another question that I know you have.
Yes.
We have over 700 cameras. We've upgraded the software. We've also hired additional campus police officers and additional dispatchers. We have the rave alert system in place, in addition to our blue light call boxes and all of that. So we're really trying to do a comprehensive plan to make this campus even safer than we are. And we're also looking at a system that can lock individual classrooms as well. Some of this is going to take time and pretty significant investment. And the arming itself is probably at least about a 12-month process, where the officers have to be recertified. They have to pass a psychological disposition exam, get recertified in the use of firearms. They have to spend time at the range. There are safety issues. There are training issues. There should be other non-lethal force options for them to subdue individuals that need to be subdued. So,
are there any more specifics into that sort of like maybe 12, 18 months training plan? Obviously, is there like any sort of like specific details? Obviously, you mentioned the recertification, the psychology test and whatnot. Is there a specific, sort of like set of standards or guidelines that these officers have to follow?
Absolutely, and they come from various places. Some from state law. For example, we also have achieved the highest level of accreditation that a campus police force can achieve. And so we adhere to those standards. Those standards, the organization is called CALIA. It's an accrediting organization, and they set standards for safety, for the storing of weapons, for the use of weapons, and the training that leads up to any individual being certified to use a firearm.
Now, you explained this a lot in this question, but my next question connecting to this, the enhancement of security of buildings themselves, you talked about that. Not just the threat of a mass shooter, but other serious matters, notably last year, the arrest of Dean Fayola for placing cameras inside one of the bathrooms at the Donovan Dining Center. Can you elaborate on those plans in place to improve the security of the buildings and ensure the safety and privacy of RIC students?
Well, we're always mindful of that. We took care of that matter when it happened.
Yes.
He was immediately fired. We then made sure that whatever photos were taken were not disseminated,
Yes.
and we found that they were not, fortunately, for the privacy of our students. That was a very unfortunate incident. We'll do our best to prevent instances like that from happening again. And we also know that there's a tension between privacy and safety. The flock camera system and how that works is an issue that we're always mindful about, and the cameras and what they surveil is also important to maintain that balance, so that we're not releasing information that's privacy protected, and yet keep the campus as safe as we can.
Yes.
We also brought in a full-time person to assess everything that needs to be assessed regarding campus safety. She's a former New York City police officer who survived 9/11. It was part of that whole business, so we think we have a highly qualified person. The Post-Secondary Council has also put out an RFP for both CCRI and RIC to do a comprehensive assessment of all of our security and safety operations.
And
So-
how long is that process going to take in reviewing?
Probably at least a year and a half. And we'll have to implement recommendations as we can afford to do them.
Now let's go again to last year. It was announced that 20-degree programs last year would be cut due to low demand, with official eliminations of these programs effective since last fall. Academically or financially, were there any benefits to the sort of slashing of these programs and the reallocation of funds? And if so, are there any specific examples that you can attest to?
Well, any modern university needs a plan to assess when programs have lived their useful life, and the number of students enrolled and the number of graduates are key indicators in that. That's what we used.
Yes.
The 20 programs, by the way, have not been eliminated yet. They have to be taught out first. So we have an obligation to the students who are enrolled in those programs. Just so that you know, the total enrollment from all 20 programs who needed to be taught out was 53.
Yes.
So 2.3 students per program. And we're committed to teaching them out. So any savings are not realized until programs are taught out. And the reallocation of resources in a situation like that takes place over time.
Yes.
So for example, you can't just add new programs like sports management and cybersecurity and the others, because modern budgets can't be sustained by just adding. So you always want a situation where you're reviewing existing array of programs as to demand and effectiveness while you're adding programs. So all of that takes place over time. So when faculty retire from low enrolled programs, they would not be replaced. And those positions would be reallocated to programs of higher need and demand. We fired several faculty in the whole computer science area to do the new programs there. So in order to accommodate that, you have to make savings in other places. So
Yes.
that reallocation takes place over time.
And how long was that process in finding those 20 programs and realizing that these are not the programs that the campus should be continuing to allocate and put in these resources to?
Say that question again.
How long was that process of finding those 20 programs and sort of deciding that these programs we shouldn't put a lot more time and effort or resources into?
Well, that took place. That review took place over the course of most of that academic year.
Okay.
The official review started in January and concluded in April or May. So, and then there are a number of programs that are under review to try to either enhance the enrollment or to evaluate whether they continue to be viable.
Okay. All right, next question. I talked a good bit to SEG President Dante DiGregorio, once again, in the audience
That
right
guy?
now. Yep, right over there in the control room. Who at the beginning of the academic year announced to the SEG Parliament about the great promise with some points regarding lowering food costs for clubs at their respective events, ensuring more textbooks are included under the tuition here on campus. How have you been able to collaborate with student government this year regarding some of these policies and initiatives?
Well, we've been trying to make dining not only more efficient, but also more effective. And we are blessed to have Mike Ward leading that whole effort. I think dining has been transformed under his leadership.
Yes.
He's well aware of cost control, but also delivering a quality product at the same time. So I'm very pleased at the way he's been able to do both. So we support his efforts. The other piece, we have negotiated with Barnes & Noble, who does our bookstore, that will attach a bookstore kind of fee to student bills beginning in the fall. And that will do two things. One is that provides deeply discounted textbooks. So the charges would be much reduced for students who don't opt out of that. So it'll be put on the student's bill. Students can still decide whether they want to opt in or opt out. If they opt in, they'll get a textbook right from day one.
Wow.
We think it's a retention issue if students have to delay the purchase of a textbook because they can't afford the cost up front. So this way, we put it right on the bill. If they opt in, they get a deeply discounted text available on day one. So we think that's a win-win for students.
That's fantastic. And I guess maybe sort of going into specifics, is that for, for getting the physical textbook, correct? Or, is there an option to have it online as well?
I believe so.
Okay.
And that's at the faculty members' discretion, too.
Right.
Faculty decide on the text and whether they have supplemental materials attached to the text or whatever.
All right, fantastic. Last, question here before we enter another break. A common issue always on the mind of RIC students is the parking situation. Not only are students usually finding themselves difficulty in getting parking, but also earlier in the year, hit-and-run incidents became a public issue. What is Rhode Island College doing in terms of improving parking and ensuring that hit-and-runs are less commonplace here?
Well, if the standard is that everybody gets a parking space right next to their classroom, we're going to fail miserably. Just kidding. We do have ample parking for the enrollment that we have on campus, but not always in the most convenient places. So we recognize that there might be a bit of a trek to your first class,
Yes.
And that kind of thing. It's camera surveillance is probably our best defense against hit and runs and whatever other activity takes place that's inappropriate in a parking lot. As I say, we have over 700 cameras. We keep increasing them. We look for blind spots, where the camera's not covering, and we've upgraded the software so that we can get at these things a little bit better.
All right.
Because, we need that kind of surveillance in case somebody does leave the scene of a fender bender.
All right. That's fantastic. Couple of answers right there. We're going to have another quick commercial break from Anchor TV's interview with President Jack Warner. When we return, some close of the college and more. But for now, here's some more student-created commercials from Dr. R. Anthony Galvez's TV production class.
.7 WXIN is radio for students run by students. We strive to bring music to the Rhode Island College campus with our radio shows and monthly live performances. If you love music, joining Wixon is the perfect way to get involved in the local scene and make friends along the way. Join us in Gage 206 at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays for our weekly general meeting if you're interested in being a part of our team. 90.7 WXIN, on air and on campus.
Have you ever washed your hands? What is the worst part of washing your hands? The wetness! Paper towels don't work well enough. Hand dryers are even worse. Introducing hand towels, a brand new way to dry your hands. What are they made of? We don't know, but it's better than what you've been using. For the low price of $99.99 plus shipping and handling, you can own your own set of 3 hand towels for all of your hand drying needs. Hand towel!
I'm so tired. I wish I had something to help me get this work done.
Is this you? Are there times when you need an extra energy boost? Try this. With Nitro Cold Brew, anything is possible.
Wow, this is so delicious. I feel like I just slept for hours.
Drink Nitro.
You'll be happy you did.
And welcome back in again to Anchor TV Interviews. Once again, Tim Mean, sports manager here, Anchor TV, with RIC President Dr. Jack Warner. We're kind of a little bit close here to the end of the interview, so just some quick questions, some philosophical ones, I like to call them, to close off. Well, first off, continue on. What are some major plans and proposals that you have in store for the college?
Well, one of the things we're trying to do is invest in a better way to provide our services to students. So I learned about the RIC Runaround early on in my tenure here. Mm-hmm. And at the root of it is a set of systems, business processes, and other systems that students, faculty, and staff have to interact with that are really antiquated. Mm-hmm. So we need a new enterprise system. An enterprise system is a kind of comprehensive approach to all the business operations that we have, right from admissions to graduation for students, but the processing of human resource issues, the hiring process, the information about salary and benefits for employees, to the keeping of the student record, yes. The audit, the final degree audit to certify that a student has satisfied all requirements. All of that is done in a very antiquated way here. Mm-hmm. So we're going to invest in that, and we have plans beginning this coming year to begin that conversion process. That'll take us probably about 3 years to do, so it's a longer-term project. But I think it's the only way that I think we're going to address the RIC Runaround and make things better for everybody who's here.
Yes.
That's one thing. The other thing we're doing is we have a campus master plan. Mm-hmm. So, as you know, we have renovated several buildings in the last few years. Horace Mann was opened about a couple of years ago. Clark Science just opened this past fall. We'll have Whipple Hall will be taken down, and a new building for all the computer science, cybersecurity, and AI programs will be set up right next to Alger Hall in that parking lot. And we also have a review. We've brought a professional firm in to review the entire campus master planning. So we'll see improvements in our roads. We'll see some buildings taken down, other buildings that we'll invest in, but we'll have a comprehensive strategy to guide us yes. about all of that. And I think that's going to be important too, to keep our operations on track.
Right. There's a common saying in Rhode Island, smallest state, biggest heart. Now here at the college, what have been some stories that you heard from students or maybe faculty that sort of emulate that phrase?
You could probably pull any given Rhode Island college student aside and say, tell me your story. And I do that in Donovan Dining. I'll sometimes sit down at a table of students and find out about them. But one of the most compelling things that has been done here is a partnership we had with Adoption Rhode Island. And the head of that will be our commencement speaker for this year's commencement. And Representative Julie Casimiro, we got $1 million appropriation from the legislature to do a better job with foster kids. Wow! So if you come to college as a former foster child, your chances of graduating are in the low single digits. It just has not been a good experience for those kids. We decided we could do better. So we have a 12-month program using that. We felt we could only serve 12 students in that program. but we got 24 who wanted in, and we decided to contribute our own funds to that program. And I'm happy to say that 2/3 of those students are, a third are doing exceptionally well. They have grade point averages over 3.0, and they're on track to graduate on time. Another third has at least a 2.0. So 2/3 of a group where you could count on maybe 4 or 5% graduating are on track.
Okay.
So inside of that will be some stories of life transformation for students who would otherwise not have a whole lot of hope.
I can't wait.
Remember, that's the state motto too, is hope.
Hope. Yes.
So-
I can't wait to hear about those stories.
Yeah.
Last question. You've been through so many places, so many, places throughout your educational career. What's so unique about this college compared to the other places you've been to?
Well, I often say that the Rhode Island College mirrors the state. So we're a college with heart. This is a place where people care deeply about helping students turn their lives around and create opportunities for a better life. And I think other colleges have had that, but it's a matter of degree. But I see that really in spades here, where people care deeply. Now we just have to align our systems so that it works better in that way.
All right. Well, President Warner, I want to thank you so much for being here today and taking the time to sit down here for an hour to have this conversation, have this interview with me, especially in front of this amazing TV production class. So once again, I'd like to say thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Of course.
Pleasure to serve all of you.
Thank you again. Thank you again to the crew out here. Thank you to the control room crew. This has been Tim Yane for Anchor TV Interviews here with President Dr. Jack Warner. We will see you for the next episode. We will see you, and you take care.